It is Tuesday. It's the 5th of November. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Our top stories today. With a countdown and a prayer, India's collective breath stopped for this.
+1, 2, 3.
Lift off.
Lift off normal.
A proud day for India as its mission to Mars blasts off without a hitch. The rocket has now achieved orbit around the Earth. If all goes to plan, it will reach the red planet in about 10 months. India would then join an elite group of space explorers. Only NASA, the former Soviet Union, and the European Space Agency have pulled off successful missions to Mars. Well, Malika Kapoor is in Mumbai and joins us now with how the country reacted as they achieved liftoff. Malika?
Monita, with that round of applause that you just heard, when you heard the voice say...
Let's bring you up to date on some of the other stories we're following here at CNN News Center. The UN Special Envoy on Syria is meeting with international diplomats in Geneva today. They're trying to keep proposed Syria peace talks from collapsing. The Syrian opposition says it will only take part if President Bashar al-Assad's resignation is on the table. But Syria's information minister says that's a non-starter, and regime officials won't go to Geneva to relinquish power. Dutch investigators say they've caught more than 1,000 internet predators by posing as a 10-year-old Filipina girl named Sweetie. This image was used to snare people from 65 countries as they allegedly tried to solicit underage girls using webcams. The user's details have been turned over to Interpol. French police are asking for help in finding a person of interest in the brutal roadside slaying last year of 4 people. This man is being sought for questioning. He was seen riding a motorcycle in the French Alps near the area where the 4 people were killed. A British family and a French cyclist were all shot to death. The family's 2 young girls survived. North Korea has admitted at least 19 soldiers were killed when a warship sank off the country's east coast. The incident happened last month during so-called combat duties. These pictures show North Korean leader Kim Jong-un laying flowers at a memorial to the dead. Britain is defending the credibility of its anti-terror measures after a man it was supposed to be monitoring disappeared. The terror suspect eluded authorities by disguising himself in a woman's burqa. He is understood to have links to Al-Qaeda. A police manhunt is now underway. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. For 12 years, Michael Bloomberg reigned as New York City's mayor. Today, voters are choosing his successor. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. One of the women who was held captive in a house of horrors in Cleveland, Ohio for more than a decade is speaking out. Michelle Knight was just 21 years old when she was abducted in 2002. Her kidnapper, Ariel Castro, according to Dr. Phil, Knight says the other women called her the unbreakable one. She fought her kidnapper every step of the way, even as he played mind games with her.
He not only brutalized Michelle physically.
Ariel Castro committed suicide in prison in September. Now, police say a gunman who opened fire at a popular shopping mall in New Jersey has taken his own life. His body was found hours after gunshots rang out Monday night, causing panic at the mall and a frantic hunt for the shooter. Poppy Harlow is following developments and brings us this report.
Chaos at a shopping center in New Jersey overnight.
That was Poppy Harlow reporting there. And, of course, police continue to investigate the case. Well, there are some high-profile elections today in several U.S. states. One of the most closely watched is the race for mayor of New York City. The Big Apple has a budget that some countries can only dream of, and outgoing Mayor Michael Bloomberg is one of the world's richest men. So what's next for Gotham? Well, Deborah Fayer joins us now from New York with more on that. Deborah?
Well, Monita, the budget for New York City is actually $70 billion.
So it would be pretty much a nail-biter of a day for New Yorkers there today. Deborah, thank you very much. Deborah Fairwick there live for us from New York. And don't forget, of course, you can always log on to CNN.com to follow all the results from the vote in New York. They waged a violent and bloody conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo that dragged on for almost 2 years. But now the rebel group known as the M23 says it's ending its 20-month insurgency. Our Damon is following developments in the region. Joins us now live from South Africa with more on that. What is the latest on this, Arwa? Live for us from Johannesburg. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. It's the race that stops a nation, and this year it had a nail-biting finish. Find out what happened in the Melbourne Cup. A dazzling display of horsepower brought the Melbourne Cup to a thrilling end. More than 100,000 people turned out to see the favorite from 7 News Australia's Jorah Sim.
Melbourne produced a perfect Cup day.
Oh, from what seemed like a gorgeous day there at the Melbourne Cup, there's the threat of severe weather in parts of Europe. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Centre with more on that. Mari?
Hello, Monita. Yeah, we've had some pretty intense weather across parts of Europe over the last couple of days. To the rest of Southeast Asia. Back to you.
Mari, thank you.
Sure.
You're watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll update you with the news headlines in just a few minutes.